When you think of the presidents of the United States, you might picture powerful speeches, historic documents, or maybe even distinct physical features. But there's one accessory that has been almost constant throughout the history of the presidency, yet often goes completely unnoticed: eyeglasses. It might surprise you to know that nearly every single US president has required vision correction. While they often avoid wearing them in public, the story of their eyewear is a fascinating journey into their private lives, unexpected health challenges, and even clever secrets. Welcome back to Generations Found. Today we are peering into the hidden history of presidential eyewear. But we are only focusing on eyesight glasses. We will explore the unique stories, hidden health issues, and bizarre trends of the presidents who had truly memorable vision histories. Let's get started. In the early days of the Republic, eyeglasses were a functional tool, not a public statement. Our first president, George Washington, along with John Adams, required powerful glasses to see close up. In their later years, both men relied on what we call reading spectacles. For Washington, the need was significant. It's estimated he used plus 3.5 corrective lenses to read. You can actually see a pair of his simple silver-rimmed spectacles proudly displayed at Mount Vernon today. It's a simple reminder that even the father of our country needed a little help seeing the details. Washington once delivered a speech and referred to the glasses he must wear to read. At a key moment in the speech, Washington reached into his pocket and revealed for the first time that he had begun wearing glasses, saying, "Gentlemen, you will permit me to put on my spectacles, for I have grown not only gray, but almost blind in the service of my country." You never really think of him today with a pair of specs. But yet, he even says in his speech he can't read without them. Thomas Jefferson may have made a name for himself as a great thinker, reader, and writer. However, this did not exempt him from vision problems. Despite having declared his vision to be his faculty least impaired by age, Jefferson had a history of using eyeglasses for reading. It is not hard to imagine why the hours on end he must have spent reading and writing by candlelight at Monticello would exhaust even those with 20/20 vision. He went through numerous pairs of eyeglasses in his lifetime, searching for the perfect fit. During the second term of his presidency, he enlisted the help of Philadelphia optometrist John McAllister, from which a 2-year correspondence grew. It would take about 2 weeks to produce a frame, which Jefferson would at times reject. In an effort to create a pair that would satisfy him, he began to become actively involved in the spectacles design. After exchanging ideas with McAllister, a design was reached that would effectively achieve the benefit of a trifocal. This is a handwritten letter from Jefferson from the archives concerning his spectacles. The December 26, 1814 letter reads,
"Sir, I enclose you a pair of spectacle frames with their complete set of glasses, which is one of 3 or 4 sets you were so kind as to furnish me with several years ago. It is lately only that I have called them into use. I found the glasses actually in them render a perfect vision, but on changing them for any of the other numbers, the object is entirely confused. I know I have not mismatched the other numbers because, for fear of that, I have made it a point never to take out two numbers at the same time, but always to pick up one pair before I took out another. I am obliged therefore to ask your rectifying hand to them, and when you shall have put them to rights, to return them to me by mail, by which conveyance I send them to you. I occasionally have to remit small sums to Philadelphia for books, newspapers, etc., and will take care to add your bill to my first remittance. Accept the assurance of my esteem and respect. Thomas Jefferson.
This is fun. See Jefferson's sunglasses in this collection from Monticello? You can actually own a copy of those. I actually found them for sale online from Colonial Williamsburg. Who knew you could be as stylish as Jefferson with your shades on a daily basis? Now let's fast forward to a president whose signature eyewear is an essential part of his public image. Theodore Roosevelt is famous for his round Pince-nez glasses, which means pinch your nose in French. These style pioneering glasses, which clip to the nose without earpieces, symbolizes his academic mind and energetic spirit. TR had been nearsighted since childhood, but there's a much darker hidden history about his vision that few people know. Roosevelt was incredibly physically active and loved boxing. Even after becoming president, his passion for the sport continued. In one of his many boxing matches while in office, the 25th president received a massive blow to the head. This punch left Roosevelt partially blind in his left eye. While some debate the exact timing of earlier injuries, a detached retina, which went undiagnosed from that punch, is the most likely culprit. Imagine the sheer strength required to continue the presidency with hidden partial blindness. Here's a fun side note about his glasses. This is a photograph of the eyeglass case in speech manuscript which helped save Theodore Roosevelt's life during an assassination attempt in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on October 14, 1912. These items are housed at the Theodore Roosevelt Birthplace National Historic Site in New York, which is managed by the National Park Service. You can see where the bullet pierced the case and document. FDR wore pince-nez glasses also, primarily to emulate his idol and distant cousin, President Theodore Roosevelt. Adopted early in his career to help create an intellectual, dignified, and authoritative image. By the way, did you know that FDR and his wife Eleanor were fifth cousins? Eleanor was a Roosevelt at birth, and Theodore Roosevelt was her uncle. He was the older brother of her father, Elliott Roosevelt. As a favorite niece, she was close to him, and he famously gave her away at her wedding to Franklin in 1905. Another president known for the pince-nez look was Woodrow Wilson, the 27th president. Like Roosevelt, Wilson regularly appeared in public wearing this distinct style. However, the hidden history behind Wilson's vision loss is equally intense. 7 years before he became president, Wilson awoke one morning to find himself nearly blind in his right eye. The cause was a localized bleed in his retina that had occurred while he was sleeping, a condition known as a central retinal vein occlusion. In simple terms, he suffered a retinal hemorrhage. It is believed his lifelong battle with high blood pressure caused this dynamic event. At the time, there was no treatment other than resting the eye for months. Luckily, Wilson regained some of his vision, and he wore the signature pince-nez throughout his presidency, which saw the nation through World War I. Our next story comes from America's 33rd President, Harry S. Truman. Unlike Roosevelt and Wilson, Truman wore glasses his entire life due to nearsightedness. The discovery of his condition is a classic childhood story. Harry's mother took him to an optometrist after a 4th of July celebration. Young Harry could hear the fireworks perfectly, but he couldn't see the spectacular light show. But Truman's most engaging hidden history about his vision occurred when he tried to join the military for World War I. Knowing his terrible eyesight would disqualify him, the determined future president memorized the entire eye chart perfectly. This clever trick allowed him to pass the examination and serve his country. During his presidency, Truman evolved his style from metal frames to frameless and transparent frames. Sometimes a president's vision issue is right in front of our eyes, yet few notice it. If you look very closely at portraits or photos of Abraham Lincoln, you'll see a distinct trait. Lincoln had eyes that were not aligned properly. Specifically, his left eye tended to roll noticeably upward and outward. This misalignment was most obvious when he was excited or tired. During his famous fiery 1860 debates with Stephen Douglas, news reporters described Lincoln's eye as rolling wildly as he spoke. The visible disability did not slow him down, but he often struggled with double vision. The possible origin of this condition? When Abe was just 10 years old, he was kicked in the head by a horse, possibly causing nerve damage. Lincoln was rarely seen in public with glasses, but at the time of his death, he was carrying 2 pairs of spectacles. I first got the idea for this video when I was researching another video on daguerreotype photos from the 19th century. I came across a wonderful image of an aged Andrew Jackson. What I noticed the most in this image was his strange glasses. While most presidents wore standard frames, Andrew Jackson, our 7th president, had a bizarre and advanced pair of eyeglasses. These were silver-rimmed spectacles that featured a unique swing hinge, adjustable temples. Instead of a simple hinge, these side arms had another pair of lenses, hinged to the side of his face, a type of inventive bifocal and sometimes sunglass lens. Another pair of Jackson's glasses used a side arm that extended behind the ears and had an adjustable slide hinge, a common design in the early to mid-19th century. This pair is distinguished by an elaborate engraving that reads General A. Jackson and is clearly etched into the metal of the temple arm. These unique spectacles were acquired from his great-grandson and are on exhibit at his home in Tennessee. This shows us that presidential eyewear, even early on, could be sophisticated and customized. The original spectacles with the adjustable lens were acquired in 1921 from Andrew Jackson's grandsons and were on exhibit at Jackson's mansion, but were sadly stolen in 1978 while on exhibit. Here is a fun side note I came across when researching Andrew Jackson's glasses. An Andrew Jackson Jr. from Tennessee was granted a patent for chicken glasses. Although Andrew Jackson had a long line of grandsons bearing his name that descended from his adopted son, and he was from Tennessee, I was not able to find a defined connection with the president beyond the inventor's name. The patent was called eye protectors for chickens. The chicken eyeglasses are small eyeglasses to prevent feather pecking and cannibalism between chickens. They use rose-colored lenses, as the coloring was thought to prevent a chicken wearing them from recognizing blood on other chickens, which may increase the tendency for abnormal, injurious behavior. They were mass-produced and sold throughout the United States, mostly through the Sears and Roebuck catalog. Moving into the modern times, vision correction trends began to change public perception. Lyndon B. Johnson was perhaps the ultimate collector of eyewear. He was thought to own a massive collection of over 50 pairs of glasses, though he rarely wore them in public, often favoring translucent or half-rim frames in private. But the real modern breakthrough came with Ronald Reagan. He made history as the first president to wear contact lenses while in office, although I am finding conflicting information on who was first, Reagan or Johnson. Either way, Reagan started wearing them during his acting career. Reagan's nearsightedness was famously terrible. Reportedly, he could only see a radius of about 1 yard. This even affected him on the high school football field, where he was often hit by the ball he never saw coming. Reagan served in the US Army during World War II from 1942 to 1945. Due to poor eyesight, he was classified for limited service, preventing him from serving in combat overseas. Instead, he worked in California with the Army Air Force's 1st Motion Picture Unit, creating over 400 training and morale films. Finally, we have Jimmy Carter. He didn't just deal with vision issues, he fought a lifelong battle against a painful eye disease. As a child on a farm in Georgia, Carter was constantly afflicted with houseflies around his eyes. This could have developed into a terrible bacterial infection that turns eyelids inward, causing eyelashes to slash the cornea and lead to blindness. Fortunately, his mother was a nurse and ensured he always washed his face. This harrowing childhood experience led the Carter Center to form the International Trachoma Initiative, dedicating to eliminating this painful, infectious blindness worldwide, a powerful legacy that began with a childhood fly. From George Washington's functional readers to Andrew Jackson's sophisticated swing hinges, and from Theodore Roosevelt's hidden blindness to Harry S. Truman's clever test-taking, the history of presidential eyewear is filled with surprises. These stories remind us that our leaders, no matter how powerful, face the same daily vision challenges we all do. We hope you enjoyed seeing the presidency through a fresh set of eyes today. Which president's vision history surprised you the most? Let us know down in the comments. Thank you for joining us today. We invite you to watch all our videos from famous funerals to diving into the archives to find generations of history. And always please remember to be kind in everything you do, including the comments you make.